Alright, this is for those of you having baby cat withdrawal. She's in hunter mode right now, looking for the chipmunks. Baby cat, say hi to the camera. Hey, say hi. Psst. No, she's smelling. I just brought her out. She's looking for the chipmunks. Wish I had the camera in my hand the other day. She caught a chipmunk, had it in her mouth, right around the back. Trotted along proudly, brought it to my feet, which sort of freaked me out a bit because they have big teeth. And she let it go, and it just sat there hopping up and down on its front feet with its butt up in the air and its tail arched, trying to make itself look bigger. She poked at it a couple times, it hopped backwards at her, and she let it go. And the stupid thing keeps coming back to tease her. So I think they're friends. I really think they're becoming friends. And the bird's just the same. I got a bird feeder over here, and they tease her. I want to show you something out here. Oh, by the way, the food dryer, I don't know if I mentioned the other day, is a success. On one hand, well, if the sun shines. But on the other hand, yes, the fruit flies got in there in a bad way, so I have to figure out how to stop that. But it did dry the food. But the cheesecloth, I'm going to make a update to my article and my video about this. Cheesecloth is a bad idea. It sticks badly. So I'm going to look for the proper plastic for this, to do this with later on. I'm going to take a risk here and step over my electric fence. Oh, the electric fence, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this the other day or not either. I'm sort of tired today. The electric fence protected my birds 2 days ago from two gigantic golden, I think they're golden retrievers. Two big dogs were running along here beside the fence early in the morning 2 days ago. And I heard this horrible commotion from the birds. And I came out and the dogs were running along the edge of the fence trying to get at the birds. And yeah, they did not go through the fence, so it must have had some effect. Now look at this. I've been moving the birds every day, every second day. They tear it up. This is 1 day right here. 1 day. And I just moved them into bird paradise. The grasses are taller than the birds. They're loving it. They're still healthy, happy. The two reds are really friendly birds. They come right up to me. They follow me around when they're out. The little guy here, he's so quiet and gentle. I can just pick him up, hold him in my hand, walk around with him. Just sits there. Somebody asked me to show them the chicken tractor all the way around, so here you are. I've got basically a house on top. I've got a just a rubber strap holding it closed up here, and got my handles almost like a gigantic wheelbarrow sort of a thing, and then the base is just a bunch of pallet wood that I recycled and covered with chicken wire. I think the whole thing cost me $20. The chicken wire was $20, and that's it. And then I had just enough chicken wire left over to lay it down on the ground like I have here and put boards over it, and that way if a raccoon or predator tries to get in, they're actually standing on the wire that they have to dig under to get through. So far it has protected them. So far. Nothing's ever got in this way. Now that one time that raccoon got in through the front door by prying the door and loosening the hinges. So I added chicken wire inside the door, down a few inches below, chicken wire on the outside of the door, and keep it hooked up with my strap. And I keep pallets up here to keep it propped up. It's a lot of work to move this chicken tractor now. It takes 10 minutes at least just to prep it. So that's why I got the scrap wood all the way around, to keep things from digging under, keep things from tearing that off. for shade, I just simply tossed a tarp on top. It's a piece of trash, holy tarp, but it works. They're alive and well. I've got this solar powered fan, but there's no power from the sun right now. Oh, there you go. Now it's running. Just needed a little help. And the Mr. Beam's outdoor motion sensing security lights. I have one on each side of the chicken tractor, which alerts me if anything approaches or attacks. So there's the overview of the chicken tractor for anybody who missed it. And oh yeah, the ramp. There's multi-level. There's a perch here which they often use on hot nights. They'll sleep on this perch. I got my water dish hanging from a beam up top, just suspended so they don't kick dirt into it. They've got a walkway up to another level, which I need to scrape off, and then a walkway up into the chicken coop through the bottom. And there's a doorway to come from the inside out to this perch. And they use everything. They walk up and down and all around, and they sleep outdoors under that lip. So it turned out well. I hope this shows up. See, the tomato in there is half eaten. All of my freshest ripening tomatoes are being eaten by either a rat or a chipmunk before I get to it, which is incredibly frustrating. I've eaten only 2 tomatoes out of my garden so far. Really irritating. And also the cherries, which are some of the best, are being devoured by critters. And what's really irritating, this one, all they did was sunk their teeth into it and took a tiny, tiny little bite out. The rest is just split from being crushed. Just sunk their teeth into it. I mean, what a waste. I'm so irritated at the waste. Lost a couple of these this way. So I'm not getting my harvest as I should. Something else is. That's irritating. Now I'm going to do cucumbers today. I'm going to make pickles because the cucumbers are growing faster than I can even do anything with them. I'll show you that in a few minutes. Now the guy that sent me the Trail of Tears seeds, the brown cucumber plants have decided to die off. When I was on vacation, they had some large ones, large cucumbers, and then they just must have thought that they were done because they had produced their seeds and quit bearing fruit, and they died. But here, I don't know if you see this. Please tell me how thick these beans are supposed to get, because here's I know you told me these are each going to be just one bean is a meal. I remember you said something like that. But anyway, they're long. But are they going to get fatter than that, or is that it? But these are some really long beans growing up here. Really incredible looking beans. Really nice. Interesting. So they're finally bearing fruit. And then these others, these super tall ones, they're producing beans as well now. And they're just starting. And they've grown up all the way up the fence and all the way up the corn. So that's pretty cool. Everything's growing nicely because it's been raining some more. Oh, by the way, my church enjoyed a meal partially from my garden. I made parsley potatoes yesterday, and it was pretty cool to be able to serve with some of my own food. It's a good feeling. This is my big pot that I use to make maple syrup in spring. And I just cleaned off the, it was covered with soot because I had used it over a open fire. I just washed it off, and I'm letting it drip dry here. I also started washing some of my cabinet covers for my doors for my RV. But over here, I have this strainer thing. This is stainless steel. This was in the RV when I got it. and it was covered with mouse feces. But anyway, I have washed it and bleached it, and I'm just leaving it out here for a while, and I'm going to give it a last rinse and another washing, and I'm going to use that stainless steel pot with this strainer for canning. I do not have a canning set. I need to start canning my pickles because I have to get them done. I'm going to start losing my food, so I'm going to start making pickles today. So as soon as this is ready, I'm going to put that inside the pot, and that will hold my canning jars to keep them from hitting the bottom. And I'm going to make pickles today while I work on the RV. Using my kitchen, barefoot. I don't walk on my tile floor with outdoor shoes. But anyway, it's good. I'm definitely using stuff. And making potatoes the other day, I already dropped. I had to laugh. It was funny because I was making my potatoes here, and I dropped the potato after it was cooked, and it went splat just the day after I laid my tile. And I actually had to laugh because it was almost a relieved laugh, because honestly, if I had had carpet down here, I'd have been crying. But the tile, I just grabbed the toe and sweeped it up, washed it, and it's done. I like this. It's going to be perfect. Well, I just got over a fit of sneezing. I'm making pickles. I've got here, I'm doing a half batch because I don't have a large pot. I've got 2 cups of water, 2 cups of vinegar. I don't want to lie. I think I used I used some salt. I got some sugar in there. I got some pickling spices. And I'm going to heat this up, this mixture here, and then I'm going to prep the canning jars in my large pot and get myself some pickles canned today. It's going to be really ad hoc here because I don't have the proper gear, but that's basically what I do best, I guess, and that's what I'm going to keep on doing for today anyway. I'm boiling a big pot of water that I use to sterilize my canning jars in, and for the canning process as well. It's going to be awkward because in here the stove, the oven, isn't very much higher than the stovetop, so I sure hope I can get this to work. And that was sort of a poor design idea there, but it's an RV, not a house. So my pickling spices are steaming nicely. Smells good. Actually, I tasted it. It tasted just like a pickle, so it's perfect. So anyway, I have to bring this to a boil, and I can only fit 3 jars at a time in the metal thing that goes in here, so I'll have to batch process a little bit at a time. It's going to be an all-day affair, but I think it's worth it in the end to have home-preserved foods and something for if the system collapses, having my own food. And to get me through winter and save money. Well, I just talked to my mom back home, and let me turn on some light here. It's getting darker. All I have to do, according to what she used to do the old ways, sterilize a jar, pull it out of the boiling water. I'm sort of using my twist on her method, but I'm going to take a sterilized jar, pull it out of the boiling water, put sliced pickles into it up to ½ inch or so from the top, and then pour which I have to reheat my brine, pour the boiling brine and fill it up to within ½ inch of the top. Put on your lids, and which I'm going to sterilize here as well, and seal them. Put them off in a non-drafty place to cool down, and they will seal themselves and be good. Simple. One problem I have: an RV kitchen is tiny for working on this stuff. There's not much counter space. That's my countertop. So for future, I think I'm going to end up putting a board across this sink to extend my counter space, because right now doing this I'm not actually using the kitchen sink, so it's crowded. I have 2 jars here already done. Now I used apple cider vinegar in here because that's what I had, and these are quite hot to the touch, so when they cool down hopefully they will seal nicely. I think they will. Each jar takes just about 2 large cucumbers, so it's a good use of my cucumbers, and oh, it's gonna be nice to have homemade pickles again. Got my washing station over here, got my painting station over here. These are primered, just letting them dry now. And they'll be ready for painting once that primer cures. And inside is my canning station. That's all I got going on in here. I'll be working late into the night on that. I have a lot of pickles to process and also some other mixed vegetables, but I gotta get some more vinegar, so I'm going into town right now. Somebody asked me once to show them me saving seeds. Well, it's this simple. I had a mass of seeds on the cutting board, and I scraped them off onto a folded paper towel. I'm going to set that aside, let it dry. When it's thoroughly dry, I can put them away for next year or for years to come. And these are the seeds from Survival Essentials. So these are non-GMO, good cucumbers, and there's the next generation being put away for next year. And it's that easy. I'm just going to dry these up. I'll probably show them. I have some other seeds inside in the camper that I've saved, and when I bag them up I'll probably show you how I label them and put them away. But anyway, I just save the seeds that fall off. I don't cut them off extra. I save the ones that fall off as I'm going. This is an awkward process in an RV. There's not a lot of room to work in. I got some boiling water here, well, simmering water I should say, whatever. Hot jar. I have a high heat tolerance in my fingers, so I can do this. But you probably cannot. The jar is hot, so you don't want to do this yourself unless you've got a high heat tolerance like I do. The seeds go to the birds. They're going to love me tomorrow. Got to work sort of fast because the juices are hot. You want to keep that jar hot while you work, if you can. like to cram them in there a little bit. Got my dill head here. Pop the dill in. Piece of garlic. Again, I'll do a video showing this whole process when I get more time. Right now I'm sort of in a rush. I like to split the garlic in half, pop it in, and top this off with the simmering pickling solution to within 1/4 inch of the top of the jar. And there's that one. Take a towel, wipe the rim. Careful, it's hot. If you don't have a high heat tolerance like me, you're going to want to have a hot pad. Clean that rim nice. Pull out my lid, which is also simmering. Ow, lid just fell in the bottom. Close it and put it aside. Pickle's ready to be good, done, or ready to sit for whenever. Sure hope this shows up on video. With this camera, you never know. Another jar getting ready. I always got one jar in there and one jar follows at all times. So I always have one jar that's been in there for a while. I'm using plain barbecue tongs because I don't have a canning set. I'm just using barbecue tongs. Now I'm out of pickling solution, so I have to do another batch. If I can get I would love to have a bigger pot, and I would do a mess of this at once, but I don't have the pot big enough. So I'm just keep doing a batch at two quarts at a time. Started to rain on me. Running like a madman pulling stuff in. I got painted stuff all over out there. Now it's suddenly raining. It wasn't supposed to rain. It's not on the schedule. Now I'm doing a mix. I have some cabbage, sliced cabbage. I have some green and yellow beans and some sugar snap peas. I've got carrots and then my brine and some cucumbers. I am actually going to pickle some of the brown cucumbers and see what how they turn out. That'll be interesting. So I'm doing a nice little mix. I'll show you what I've got over here. Here's the day's work so far. I did have to leave and go to town and get some more vinegar. So I didn't get as much done as I could have. Now there's a mixture of cabbage and cucumbers and carrots and mixed peas and beans. And it's going to turn out very nice, I believe. Now I've got some here on the right side. Actually the ones in the back, you can see the color difference. There's the apple cider vinegar, and you can see the difference with the white vinegar that I just purchased. So it'll be interesting to see the difference in taste between those two varieties right there, and I'll label them appropriately. And yeah, experimentation, that's what it's all about. So I've used just over half of my jars, and I still have a ton of vegetables to can. That's what this is, the off-grid project, that's part of it. canning and preserving. This is hopefully going to get me through winter with enough dried and canned vegetables. Well, it's about 9 o'clock at night. I've got 9 jars, 3 of the mixed vegetables. I've used the same recipe on all of them. As I had said before, 4 of them have brown vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and the rest have the white vinegar. So anyway, there's a good day of work. Normally it would not take this long, but again, I have just a little pot, so I can only do 2 jars at a time, which is annoying. When I go back to see my parents, when I come back, I'm going to bring a large pot if they have one to spare. Earlier it started raining and I had to run around like a madman and pull in all of my drawers and cabinet doors that I had painted, so they're inside carrying for the night. I was hoping to get more done, but I spent most of the day over the stovetop because you have to set up to do 2 jars because of my small pot. It takes about 20-30 minutes to do the liquid, to prepare it for the jars. The rest of it is easy, fast. So anyway, I just wanted to get my vegetables used up. Now that is all from my garden. This is, except for the cabbage I bought from the Mennonites when I was up north last weekend. But everything here is from my garden. This is nice. Very nice. My RV kitchen is a nightmare. What a mess. I'm not cleaning up tonight though, because I'm going to be right back at it in the morning. Just keep on going. The only thing I'm going to clean up is this wet stuff. I'm going to put the cabbage away and cover it for the night. But other than that, tomorrow I just pick up where I left off and keep on canning. I got a lot to do.